Welcome back to House Improvements. So we're back at the cabin build, and as you can see, we've got the walls all standing. I had a crew of 8 or 10 people around here, and camera crew and everything. Took us a couple hours, but we got the walls standing. I've got a few odds and ends to do yet, but we've got it all up. So let's take a look back and see how we did it. Okay, so the first wall we're gonna stand actually doesn't have any sheathing on it, any plywood on it. So we're gonna lift that one up and stand it, and it's this south wall, comes across this face. And I've attached these blocks to the rim joist to keep that wall from sliding right off the foundation when we do it. I will be adding sealant on all the other walls because they have a plywood lip on it like this right here. This plywood will flop down against here. This one, because I don't have the plywood on, I can seal it after, so I won't be doing that right now on this one. We've cleaned off this plywood here so there's no junk underneath the wall, no dirt and dust, and we should be good to go. So that we can get our fingers underneath this wall easier, I'm just going to put the wall up on some blocks. So if you just pry it up and throw a block underneath, you can get your fingers under without too much effort. Okay guys, use your legs. Now it's going to want to slide off there a little bit. There we go. Just wait, let's let those guys slide it off their wall. Okay. Okay, then it can slide my way about a foot. 6 inches. An inch. Whoa, that's good. You guys got the wall? So if you want to go out and here's this sledgehammer, just pound a stake beside those braces, kind of near the end. Yeah. Yeah. Even a little further back if you can. Yeah. How is it on your line there at the end? Does it have to go your way at all? Something like that? Okay. So they're just pounding some stakes there so we can brace it afterwards. And I'm flushing this plate of the 2x6 up to the outside of the sill. Actually, correct that. I've got a chalk line on the inside. I'm going to. Sorry, my mistake. So I'm just pounding the wall out till I see the line. I've already got it good on this end. And I'll put a nail about every 2 feet in the rim joist and as well into every floor joist. Can we just get it out to so we see that chalk line? Okay, I might have to take those blocks off. I think they're holding us, guys. There. Looking down here. Since you have those screws, I'll plumb the wall, and if you can screw the brace. Okay, so then I'm going to plumb up the walls, and then we'll brace these or attach these braces to the stakes. So the tops got to go out. More yet. Whoa. More yet. A little bit, yeah, right about there. Put a couple screws in, please.
still good?
Yeah, it was good. It's got to go out. Oh. Back in just a bit. Just push the brace into the ground a bit. Now push the wall in. That's good. You can screw it there.
Still good?
Yep. Okay, so we got our first wall up and braced temporarily. Now we're going to move around and stand up that far wall, and this one has plywood on it. So on these other walls, we've got plywood hanging down, like I mentioned before, that's going to come down the face of the rim joist. So I'm going to put a bead of a good exterior caulking, something that stays flexible. And it's mainly just an air seal and keeps bugs and critters out. So I'm going to just run a bead all the way along here before we get this stood up. I'll just mention that the reason I'm going on this face is mainly because I can, because I've got the plywood coming down. If you don't have that plywood coming down, you could put your bead up here. The only problem with that is when you start sliding the walls around, sometimes you break the seal then, or you squash the caulking so much that it's not making a seal. That's why I think this is a little better. Okay, so this wall, guys, when we lift it, we just have to be careful that it doesn't slide off the foundation because we have no blocks now. But we do kind of want it to be outside of that chalk line so that we can then slide it to the south without getting in that caulking that I just put on the face. So we'll kind of get it out to a point where we can see an inch past that chalk line that's on the ground, and then we can slide it down, or if we have to, go do some pounding on it. So can you just keep a bit of pressure on that bottom for us? Everybody ready? 2, 3. Okay, let's just kind of kick the bottom out a bit if we can. There we go. We can see the chalk line now. Okay, we stand it up all the way. Somebody's really holding back. Oh, there we go. I felt like I was lifting somebody off the floor. Okay, we'll see if we can move it this way about a foot, see if it'll slide. It's going. Okay. Okay, so if a couple guys can go outside, the wall's fine now with 2 or 3 of us holding it, and just push it into the foundation at the bottom. Yep, that's better. So what we did is we slid this wall down until we were flush here with this first wall that we stood up. Looks pretty good here. How is it on that pencil mark down there? Do you see a little arrow?
I am very close.
Yeah, oh, that looks good. That looks great, yeah. Right in the middle of the wall, looks like it has to come into us a little bit more, if it will. So same thing, I'm just gonna fire some nails down into the rim for now. I'm tacking it right now. I'll go back and secure it better after. So I tack those, and then I'm going to actually pull this wall tight over here. So right here is where my 2 walls meet at the outside corner, and you can see I've got a gap here, pretty tight at the bottom where we booted it in. But I need to pull this in. I'm just checking. I'm nice and flush right here halfway up. So I just want to pull this in and tack the 2 walls together. I'll nail right by this guy's hand. He won't feel a thing. And then as I go up higher, this wall here is actually curving in a little bit. So I'll manipulate that after. This will stitch the corner together good enough for now, and we can keep standing walls. So now this next wall, the north wall, is framed in 2 pieces with the middle piece missing over a doorway just because it made it easier to lay it out here on the deck to frame it. So this first piece is we're gonna slide it down closer to this wall before we stand it, then we'll stand it up. And again, it has to slide out over the edge because the plywood on this wall is overhanging by the thickness of this wall. And that just helps lock everything together once we get it nailed. So we'll push it over close. We've also got a bit of a crappy spot on the plywood here, but I think we'll be all right on that part. Oh, I've got to put some caulking down there too. So if you can just put it on that edge of that plywood, please. Right to, if you come to this piece of mud. So he's just getting the caulking on down there. And I guess we can take this wall and slide it here a few feet before we actually stand it up. Okay, that's a lot closer. I'll just give it a twist here. And actually they probably have it, so I'm gonna let them lift it up and then I'll give it a push down the side. I've got a couple guys on the outside just making sure it doesn't slide off the wall. Okay, it's standing up pretty good. I'm going to give it a push. Fingers are out. Fingers are out. Okay. Must be getting close. Watch your hand out. Okay, I'm just going to double check how plumb we are ending up in these corners. If the framer's any good, we should be close. I hate to say it, hate to brag, but that one's bang on. So is that one. Confirmation?
Yeah.
And I can, oh actually, maybe this one's out a bit. Will the wall come in at the bottom here? Or is that it? There's a big hammer there if you need to, got to hit about a foot up. No. Just maybe the two of you pushing on it, and then I'll try to get a nail in. It's just kind of bouncing for some reason. Give her a push. Okay, that's going to be best we can get it. A little bit here in the middle, if it will. Looks like it's pretty solid. Yeah, I think you're right. My line's out. They tell me my line's out. So that one there will all stand on its own. Oh, I'm going to nail that corner. Okay, we're going to move the camera and a few things because we're going to stand the wall up that the camera's on. Don't put your fingers under it. It's this bar's slipping. There. I'm not fat enough. Can you imagine that? I can't imagine that. There we go. Fingers are out. Let's maybe take this wall and just drag it back a little bit, and then we're not fighting with it. I just wanted to show here, we've got a doorway here, and I pre-cut the plate up from the bottom before I framed the wall, so that when I cut that plate out, I don't have to cut right down into the subfloor. But yet I've still got the plate in there to help maintain my spacing, so just a little hint for you. Okay, so this wall's the same idea as the second wall we did. We're going to stand it up, and then we've got to slide it to my right. Ready, guys? Okay, I've got the wall. Or actually, you guys got the wall. Just hang on right there. Is everybody comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay, just hang on. I had some nails still in it where I tacked it to the floor. I'm just going to pull them out.
got that one.
Okay. So now can we kick it out a little bit? Yeah, that should be good. Maybe the little more on that very end. There you go. Okay, and then can you give it a shove this way? Oh, just hang on. Just get around that wall. There we go. About 4 inches. Inch yet, guys, if we can. Pretty close. Okay, if the outside guys can push the bottom in to the line again. Give it a... Oh, it's got to go back too?
Oh, maybe not. Looks pretty good there.
A little bit. It can go a little to the north. That's pretty good, I think.
Okay.
How are you on that pencil line?
He wants a hair more down here.
Okay, give him a hair more.
One more.
Okay. And then if you can just smack it.
Yeah, I guess we got lines there, right?
Yeah, I can see you got about a 1/4 inch to go.
I'll get in there. I think my plywood's just...
Okay. Just go down about in the middle there. It's... That's still got to go. Okay, it's just springing. It's just springing. I think this end here needs a little more yet too. I think it'll go more. Is it just bouncing there still, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, we're...
Don't get in that mud.
Yeah.
Sorry. I gotta get more over by there.
Ooh, that must have hit something. Come about 3 feet this way and give it a... Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, move over 2 feet. Two feet. 2 feet. Okay, we're good the rest of the way. Yeah. Well, actually, you can hang on to it.
Hold this end up.
Yep. There we go. We're good. We'll push it out and over. Let's slide it a little more. Just let it down a bit, and then we can slide it easier. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got to go a couple feet.
Oh, 2 inches?
Oh, we got a post here.
Oh, okay, just push the wall in a little more.
Yep, there we go.
Okay. We're pretty close on that mark, hey? How are we looking here? Can you give it a pound at the corner going south? Yeah. Work your way along there. It must be hitting here in the middle or something. Is that one good there?
No, it needs to go out a little bit.
Okay, we can deal with that. Oh yeah, I can see where.
Water's still out.
Push. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's why it's kept. That's why it was kind of pushing out.
It just bounces. There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna nail the bottom. So we've got the bottom plate all tacked down. I'm just going to plumb this corner and nail it. Come on. No, don't push it. Okay. So we've got all the walls standing. In this area, I've just got to put a header across here because this is going to be an opening. And then I can sheet the outside, finish sheeting that wall and finish sheeting that wall there. And then I'll stick a few more braces on just to solid things up in case we get any wind. I can finish nailing off the walls to the floor, all the corners, then go outside, and anywhere that the plywood overlaps onto another wall at the corners, that all needs to be nailed as well. Main thing is make sure you have enough help, really. And if it's really windy, you're going to want to be bracing as you go. Today we've got like 0 wind. We braced that first wall just to give us kind of a solid anchor. And but like even these walls here shouldn't be too bad out in the middle. I haven't nailed that corner completely, but we'll put on this wall, it's 24 feet, I'll put a couple braces down on the inside. That wall's braced on the outside. I'll put a couple braces over on this wall as well, just to hold everything up well in case the wind gets up or something over the next few days before we get the rafters on. Okay, so for interior brace, I mean, it all depends on the height of your wall and how much wind you're getting and that sort of thing. I could probably get away with 1 brace in the middle, but I'm going to put 2. So I'm going about every 8 feet. And I'm using an 8-foot 2x4. I'll just put 1 nail in the top, I've got the brace about 1 foot down from the top. So I'll put 1 nail there so it kind of pivots. And I'll stick my other brace up over here. And then I can nail these blocks into a joist, and then I can plumb the wall in and out. So I'll just get an idea how plumb I am. So I'm actually pretty close. So I'm just going to nail this block down. And I've just got to pull this wall in just a little bit. That's actually pretty good there. It's better if you have 2 people. You might have to manipulate it a bit. I put a nail in there. I've got to bring this side in a little bit too. Oops, I didn't nail this block down. There we go. So that's really all you need. I probably could have had these on a little bit more of an angle, or even 10-foot 2x4s. A little more angle would have been a little bit better. But that's the basic idea of getting the wall braced. Just temporary for wind and that sort of thing. And then in all the corners, because I mostly just nailed, 4 feet up or whatever, I'll just double check them all. Which this one's good all the way up, so it can be nailed all the way up. So I'm putting, these are those same nails that I use for the framing. They're like 3 1/4 inch, and I'm putting a nail about every 16 inches. Actually up there I don't have anything to nail to in my situation, but I would normally put a nail up top. So do all your corners, and then we need to tie in our double top plates. Okay, so you can see that I left this piece of the double top plate cut short on this wall, and that's because we want to splice the double top plate across to tie in this wall as well with it. So this short piece I've got actually nailed to this stud, already pre-cut. Right there. And it's made to fit there. It's made to fit across here. Now I also, you can see I got a little bit of a lip right there, so I need to push this wall out. And I think there's enough pressure on it. I think if I drive a nail in from this side and hammer the nail over, it'll push the wall out. That probably got some of it right there. There, now I'm flush out there. This piece fits in. And then out here is where it overlaps onto the other wall to tie them together. Just like that. So now that tied the walls together. We've got some shake because there's no plywood on this wall here, so we don't have any shear strength to it yet. So now we're just going to put this header in place for this set of garden doors. So it'll just sit flush to the inside. We'll get a few nails in it. Thanks. So I cut this piece. This will be our first plate that spans across here. And then I've just got to make up a piece for the double top plate. Okay, so I'm going to put this piece up top there, and ideally you want to span that whole opening if you can with this double top piece. It just gives the whole wall some extra strength. For more information on the double top plates, just look back at the framing video. And I'll have to just cut a little block to finish that off. Ideally, before I put that second top block on, I should have cut these little studs that are going to have to be above the header. They're still going to be on the 16-inch centers, which is the same layout as the wall. But ideally, it would have been nice to have them in there and nail them through the top plate. I'll just have to toe them, nail them now. Okay, one of the last things I've got to do is this is a corner where the plywood of this wall hung past the wall and overlapped onto this wall. So I've got to now nail the plywood or the OSB to the end of this wall, and that'll just strengthen the corner all up. And as well, I'll have to go around and nail this plywood that hung down onto the floor. I'll have to go around and nail that all the way around as well. I'll probably put a row of nails right into the sill plate, which is right like 1.5 inches from the bottom here, and then just up 10 inches or so. And I'm going about every 8 inches. So you would just continue all the way along doing that. Okay, so we've got the walls all standing. I've got a little bit of bracing and nailing and that sort of thing to still do, but I think you've got the basics of what you need to do. The main thing is having enough people for the size of walls that you have. And you're always better off to have a couple extra hands around because something always comes up. About the only other thing besides all the nailing and bracing is I've got to sheet that first wall that we stood up, and I might actually just do that in a separate video, so that if you actually framed, because you could frame your walls without any sheeting and sheet it after, so that'll just look for that on a different video. So that's about it for now. We're going to wrap it up. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and keep watching. You might even want to download the playlist because this cabin build's got a lot of information. The other day when I was framing this with Ryan, I forget what I did, or was that were you here? No, I think Ryan was here. And I stepped out here onto this and the sheet wasn't nailed and it started to tip and I had to jump off. I'm lucky I didn't break something and being an old man now. That might have been the end of the project.